Welcome to Linux Networking Solutions, Part 1 by Gregory Boyce, a video course by Pact Publishing. I am Adam Stewart, and I will be Gregory Boyce's voice for this course. Gregory Boyce is a technologist with nearly 20 years of experience in using and managing Linux systems. When he's not at work or spending time with his wife and 2 daughters, he is playing around with new technologies. Gregory spent the last 15 years working at Akamai Technologies, where he has worked in roles ranging from network operations, internal IT, information security, software testing, and professional services. Currently, he heads up the Linux OS team that manages Akamai's custom Linux operating system, which runs on their massively distributed, customer-facing network. So let's now talk about the course Visual Studio. Linux can be configured as a networked workstation, a DNS server, a mail server, a firewall, a gateway router, and many other things. These are all part of administration tasks. Hence, network administration is one of the main tasks of Linux system administration. By knowing how to configure system network interfaces in a reliable and optimal manner, Linux administrators can deploy and configure several network services, including file, web, mail, and servers while working in large enterprise environments. Starting with a simple Linux router that passes through traffic between 2 private networks, this video will show you how to enable NAT on the router in order to allow internet access from the network. You will also enable DHCP on the network to ease configuration of client systems. Configure your own DNS server on your local network using bind9 and tie it into your DHCP server to allow automatic configuration of local host names. This video is packed with practical and task-based approach that will walk you through building, maintaining, and securing a computer network using Linux. So now let's look what we have got inside this course. We will first see configuring a router. It starts by getting you to manually configure the IP address information on your system, and then properly configure the system to bring up its interfaces automatically. From there, we'll move on to extending our system to act as a router for your own network, including DHCP for dynamically configuring client systems. After that, we will configure DNS. It will cover setting up your internal DNS server for both resolving external host names for you, as well as hosting DNS records for your own domain. Next, we will configure IPv6. It will provide a brief introduction of IPv6. We'll configure a tunnel to provide IPv6 connectivity, implement firewalling using iptables 6, and provide IPv6 addresses to the rest of your network. Next, we will look at the remote access. It will look at methods for remotely interacting with your new network using OpenSSH and OpenVPN. Finally, we will be looking after web server. Here, we will set up web servers hosting PHP code using both the Apache HTTPD server and Nginx. This course is targeted at Linux systems administrators who have a good basic understanding and some prior experience of how a Linux machine operates, but want to better understand how various network services function, how to set them up. You should be familiar with how to set up a Linux server and how to install additional software on them. For this video, you'll need a copy of Linux, preferably Ubuntu 14.04. You'll also want access to 3 computers to install Linux on. One of the servers will need to have 3 network cards built into it. For this purpose, I would strongly recommend using virtual machines. VirtualBox will allow you to do this for free and is available on Windows, Linux, or OS X. You may find that the commercial offerings from VMware are parallels, or Microsoft may provide better performance. With Linux networking solutions, I can assure you that you'll be able to install or configure all the prerequisites for the Linux network to operate. So, what are you waiting for? Let's begin this journey together.